Okay, guys. So good to get started. So having discussed about these general discussions, so what I thought is today we're gonna spend some time and we'll start to get an overview of AWS services. That is like where we will get started from. So in order for you to get started, guys, you need an account on AWS. So today I'm gonna spend some time in giving you uh, how you go ahead and create an account in AWS. You should be using this account. People, let's get started now. So for that, you need to just start to visit, the free tier page offered by AWS. So it is AWS free tier. Free tier is all about. This is something that you can register an account because this is something that you will start deployments into it. Everyone should have their own accounts. The moment you type, you see you'll reach up on AWS free tier page. Click on this link. It will navigate to this .com/free free tier account. So let me explain you the features of this free tier account. So AWS gives you certain offering services. There are two options. How about now, people? Goes down. Yeah. Now much better.
Still an echoes there, but slightly better than earlier though.
Okay. Let me just check the volume, guys. The volume is. How about now? It's much better.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So the point I was about to get started was on the idea of free tier. So AWS says you can practice the AWS scenarios by creating an account for yourself. Now this account falls under the root user scenarios. That means you are the owner for this account. You completely own this account. So you'll have full privileges for it. So when the privileges are assigned, so AWS says that we are ready to offer you certain services which are completely free of cost. There is no charge at all. But there are some services where we'll give you certain limits to use. And there are some services where we will charge you the moment you start using it. So don't worry about the charges, guys. I'm here. I'm here to make sure that whichever the services that you come across, I'll give you an update that what services that you're going to get charged and what services that you don't get charged and what are the services that you'll get charged immediately. So if you start to scroll down, you see there are some services which are always free and the subscription is about 12 months. That means the tier validity of this tier is about 12 months. So what does it mean? Assume that you have created today. So to the next year, 2021, the account will remain under free tier limits. What happens after the 13th month? It won't be in your free tier limit. The direct charges get applied. So what does this direct charges mean? That means you consume certain service, you'll get charged for that service. That means you will not be having those credits or limits that get applied in these 12 months. So what are those limits? So AWS starts to give you certain limits. Those limits are in the form of hours, storage they have given you. So let me put a little more weightage on understanding of this. So to give you a simple example, guys, there is a compute option that is mentioned here. So under this free tier, this is valid for about 12 months. So what happens every month? So AWS says, I'm going to offer you a machine that you could run every month for about 750 hours for free of cost. That means that's a limit that you cannot go beyond. That's like a balance, a prepaid option that is given to you. So there are 750 credits that going to be available in your account per month. This is per month. Likewise, how many months? 12 months. So what does this hours mean? What is this EC2 instance? So don't get into all those details. Try to visualize this EC2 instance is as simple as like a virtual machine, or it's like a server for you. So that server gonna be running for about 750 hours a month. one single server, you can get started. So if you run on day one, say you started with and you started to run it. So how much is the consumption, guys, on day one? 24 hours. That means out of 750 hours on day one, you have consumed 24 hours. 750 minus 24, something around 720 hours is left in your account. Likewise, you are running the machine for another 24 hours. That means 48 hours of consumption is done. That is assuming you are provisioning only one server. So what happens is if you start to use this machine for a period of 30 days, that means 24 cross 30. So about 720 hours of consumption for the whole month with one single server. There is only one single server. So still you have 30 hours left in your account. 750 minus 720. So what AWS will do? AWS will charge you 750 hours minus 720 hours. So you are still left with 30 hours of consumption. So AWS won't charge you for this. Now, out of the box, you, instead of running one machine, you went and provisioned 10 machines. That shouldn't be the scenario at this moment. But just assume that without the necessity, you had gone a step ahead and provisioned 10 machines. So guys, how much of consumption you should have been done on day one? What should be your consumption on day one with 10 machines? So what should be your consumption, guys? Of course, multiply with the number of machines and the number of hours, 240. That's right. If you continue to make them run for the next day, another 240 hours for the next day, another 240 hours for day 3, another 240 hours for day 4. That means totally the total value will come out to be 960. So your limit is only 750. So what AWS will do? Because I gave you a limit about 750, but for past 4 days you are running and the extra number of hours are 210. So AWS will start you attaching that for every single hour extra that you have consumed above this limit, they'll keep on adding the charge for it. Now, don't get into the specifications of what could be the charge. That's not your headache at this moment. Don't worry about it now. How much is the cost? What could be the cost? We'll go into those kind of discussions little later. The idea is you'll get charged for the limit that you have consumed. So 750 minus the extra hours that you have consumed, 960. So for those 210. So what should you do now? You should go and terminate it. Terminate the machines. The moment you terminate the machines will get terminated and your billing will come back to zero because you are not attaching them anymore. You are not running them anymore. So people, can I get a quick confirmation in the chat window that you have understood how does the services, consumption, the billing policies, are you clear with the idea of compute? So what does this compute fall under? Compute is basically a service model where you will start go ahead and run your applications on it. So you're given certain number of hours. So this machine you can use on a T2.micro, on a RHEL machine, a Linux machine, or a SUSE Linux machine, or a Windows machine with T2.micro. So all these things, when we go into the console, you will understand it. So people, are you clear now with the idea of compute? Thank you. Now, likewise, AWS has given something related to storage. See, storage is given as a service. So instead of having your own storage setup, now you get storage as a service. So for this, AWS says, okay, people, we are giving you 5 gigabytes of storage per month for free of cost. So in that limit, you can use. But anything above this limit, for example, you have uploaded a file size of 7.5 gigs of storage. So what AWS will do by the process of billing, they'll subtract this 5 gigabytes of storage. So extra 2.5 gigabytes of storage, you'll get charged for it. So the idea is to the given consumption bill that you are taken, how much extra that you are used. If you're not using extra, you will not get charged. So most of our scenarios, guys, that 750 hours of storage, 750 hours of compute, 5 gigabytes of storage are well enough in our, course plan. They're very much sufficient for your practice. But sometimes people tend to forget deletion of resources, addition of, so the moment they start forgetting to analyze or provision and deprovision the resources properly, bill starts to take into your account. So that is why, guys, it is very, very important to get a skill set that how do you manage your resources. See, if it is your resource, you will get billed for it. Assume that if it is in the name of the companies, so companies will certainly have a right to ask you that why this much of billing in this month. So you should have answers to explain them. You should have answers to explain that what type of consumptions you have done. So for that, guys, I would request you to learn every particular detail regarding the billing, which will be very, very useful for your careers. Because this is a new kind of system where your machines, your services, everything is running in AWS cloud and you get billed for the consumption. And consumption bill will get on a monthly basis. So companies have every right to ask you for the consumption. Before it was not. Before it was very simple. A server which was located in your office or some in client location, so you did not to even worry about the bill because they have already paid for it. Like they already bought the server in their office and they made it up and running. But now it is not like that. The scenario is different. The scenario is the more you usage, the more amount of bill that could be getting generated. So it's a skill that you guys have to learn. So having said this, I hope there are lot number of services that AWS has given under. I just gave you a nutshell of how the compute and storage and other services will work across. So AWS has every service that you could imagine in terms of, every product you can see, categories, you can see database products they have, likewise database they have. If you want to see what kind of services they offer under compute they have. Next, you could see under mobile services what they have. A lot of services that are given to you. So every service that you could target under a particular category, they have a solution for it. So people, once you get an idea about this method, so what I would recommend you is go ahead and create an AWS account. So once you click on this link, I hope it's just a registration page that you need to do with your email address, a password. A strong password is required that you can go ahead and a name, whatever the name that you want to give. You can give your name, full name, and then continue. Now, once this process of the input is done, there will be two steps that you need to come across. Step number one, it will ask you, after this, it will ask you to input your personal details. What are the personal details? Your location, which country do you belong to, what is that, certain personal details. Next, it will ask your financial details. Nothing about your bank account, but it will ask you to input your credit or a debit card. So don't get worried about, guys, by giving your debit or a credit card. I'll explain you how to understand this. So once you input your financial credentials, like by adding up a debit or a credit card, it is safe and secure. So don't worry about it. I've been using for past 7 years. The thing is, first, it may deduct 2 INR from your account if you are Indian customer, $1 from your account if you are from USD. That is the reason it will ask you to confirm the region that you are in. Why is that they will do is to verify whether the card you supplied is working or not. If your credit is done, if the deduction is done, that means your card is working. Then right after that, the step number 3, it will go ahead and ask you to select a support plan. So support plan, don't select anything, select a free plan, free tier plan. There are 4 tiers of support: basic, developer, enterprise, and business. So just go ahead and select free tier. Otherwise, the next plan is don't, even though you use it or no, you'll get $29 a month, because the next plan after free tier is developer plan, which is $29 a month. That means before the month hits, you'll get $29 deduction from your account. So don't go for anything, just go for a free tier, free support. So once these things are done by personal details, financial confirmation, and then with this selection of the plan, if all these things are done, you'll get your account registered and you will get an email to the registered email that you have shared across saying that could you please go ahead and approve the confirmation of that you own this account. So you have to confirm it and your account will get created. So there's a question for me. Let me take the question. I believe only will use credit card. As of now, with my exposure, I've seen it does even support debit card. So please do check and double confirm it. Right now, it also supports net banking, but during the registration, it will take a debit or a credit card. Right after the account creation, it will ask you to even use your net banking as an option to log in. So I'm guessing it is very much that debit card also are accepted because I'm using a debit card now. So people, my request to all of you is try using a try confirming me as well because I might be wrong at this point. But as of my knowledge, even debit card will support. Right. So this is a task that I'm giving you. So I hope can you guys get this assignment done earliest latest by tomorrow. Will you be able to get this account creation done? Already done? Wonderful. Good. Anyone else still pending with the account creation? So you guys can get started with the account creation. It's done. Very good. So if your account is ready, then you can start using your account, or if not, please get your account done latest by tomorrow. Tomorrow you can get. The only thing is you should have your account ready. That's all. The aim of this. We'll get it by yearly. Wonderful. Good. So people, if your account is ready, yeah, please go ahead. Account type personal. It should be personal. Account type is personal, Harsha. Yeah. Just a quick question. Please go ahead. Ali Syed. This solution architect class or a DevOps class. Are you joining for the first time, Ali? Yes. Right. So this course is designed in a way that we will be considering the fundamentals of all the services of AWS. Will be doing the projects related to it, where you will become a hands-on guy with regards to AWS solution architect and a DevOps engineering, because DevOps engineering is a combination of developer as well as SysOps admin. So it is both for solution architect and SysOps admin. Why? Because solution architect, we will design a solution and then using DevOps, we'll do a deployment. So it's a combination of both. So I already mentioned about in the demonstrations. Okay, so I don't want to invest time on this. I have shared the course content, so I would request you to get the copy of the course content where we have discussed about all the topics, what we will be covering, Ansible, Jenkins, all that stuff, because these are the third-party tools that we'll be using and deploying it. Clear, Ali? If you can just go ahead and check with your point of contact, the course content is already there, and I've covered all the topics that you are asking about in this course. We are covering up as part of the DevOps course. Clear? It's still not, do let me know. Clear, done. So people, if you continue the discussion, so let me just go ahead and let me sign into my account so that you guys can get a little overview of AWS account of mine. Let me just go into sign in account. Which user should we select? Which user should we select? I didn't get that user. So you are currently root user. Root user, because you are the owner for this account. IAM users, there's a session that you guys need to undergo. What is IAM? You'll come to know what is IAM a little later. Let's first get started with the root user. So let me log in with mine. So please do remember, guys, whenever say root user, it's that user that you have registered with. So this is my user that I'm going to log in with. I'll enter my password and there you go. I'm into the account now. So guys, in this session, we will not be discussing about all this because we have to follow many topics, because you have to undergo fundamentals training, where we will be learning about a lot of services. Then we'll go into the AWS cloud. So I hope you guys are aware that you have to undergo with a lot of services. So we'll come back to this account once again. Once you guys have, once you we will come back to that AWS part where you learn about what is this region, what is this infrastructure, what are the services, all that stuff. So I'll go in detail about all this. What is a region? What is an availability zone? How do you select a region? So the idea of this session is to give you a little overview of how does this console looks like and what are the services that we have. So welcome guys, welcome to the AWS Management Console. This is a ready-made option for you, that is like UI. You will log in, and with this you're accessing your services. But people tend to forget that is just only a console. It's just a way to connect your resources. There is another method, we call it as AWS CLI, which I'll discuss later. That's another way to access your resources. Okay, now what do you mean by resource? Resource is as simple as anything that is created in AWS account, like EC2 instance. What do you mean by EC2? EC2 means Elastic Cloud Instance, Elastic Cloud Compute. What does it mean? It means like a virtual server. So to get a little more insights about the console, so let me navigate you guys to my account. So you can see there's an option called My Account. Click this account under your account. You'll get to see a lot of things in your account. First thing that you come across is your account ID. Please do remember the path when I say people go and get your account ID. So don't ask me where to get the account ID. So this is the page where you can go and reach to your account ID, account name, password, credentials, your login details, contacts, all the details which are required for the account management are mentioned here. So this is a concept of GovCloud. So this GovCloud is something like where you have a federal project which is to be hosted on AWS Government Cloud. So you need to do a sign up, which is not required for us. So once this is done, I'll just go ahead and give you a little more insight about my billing dashboard. Okay, there you go. So the monthly billing dashboard is in front of you guys. The billing that is current month billing is right now that I'm having to be paid, or the consumption that I'm doing is about 3,855 rupees that I need to I'm on current consumption, which we might go to expect that right now it is 50 USD consumption is done, and if this is the way that if I consume my resources, I might end up at $64. So that's what is my consumption is all about. So for this month, so don't worry guys, you will not get such bills generated into your account, because this account is already crossed free tier about 3 years ago. So I'm right now using a non-free tier account. This is not a free tier account. So don't worry about the bills that you might get into it. You shouldn't be getting into such kind of bills. So also the aim is how better practices that you people will follow to make sure the bill is brought down, because that's what is the role of an architect, or the engineer should do a deployment in a way that you should have lesser resources, right way of implementing, and solution also should be designed in a way that you get less price and cost optimized solutions. So if you want to know more about what kind of billable resources that you are getting charged for, you see there is a page that gives you a summary of the pricing. If you're still not convinced that why this much price, I want to get into more details about this pricing, you could go ahead guys, you could go ahead and click on billing section. There you see the bills getting generated. So the end month of the bill consumption, this is a consumption. So right now what is the consumption that is happening? So if you want to get to the previous bills, you can get into the previous bills also. You'll get an idea about what is the previous bills, what is the previous month bill that got generated. The aim to show you is why is that you are getting charged for this. So let me just show you an example of an RDS service. Sorry, the right way is Elastic Cloud Compute, EC2 service. So there are two regions that I'm going to be constantly using, Ohio and Oregon. So Ohio region, I have been provisioning certain servers like EC2 instance. There is a NAT gateway that I've provisioned. So don't get into what is this NAT gateway. We'll discuss in detail. So I've provisioned certain services. So I got charged for the NAT gateway. The dollar price, the cost for it is per GB, how much is the cost and how many number of hours that I've been using, how much of consumption that I made. For past 6 hours I've been running for that machine. So I got the bill generated. And I was running on a T2.micro instance about an hour, so I got the bill for it. So you'll get a complete detailed information about it. Like I'll also update you guys every time whenever you come across services with regards to storage. So EBS is planned towards your storage. So I've consumed particular number of resources. Load balancing, what kind of load balances that you will get charged. So every time whenever there is a consumption of a particular service in our solution, you'll be updated by me. I'll try to make sure that you get a complete idea about that service and what could be the relevant price towards it. Likewise, a lot of services have been there. So even you can download it as a CSV file so that you can verify the consumption, and also you can get the payments done here. So whatever the orders and invoices that you have, you need to make the payment accordingly. So there is a payment invoices, the payments that you have already done, the payments are yet to be made. So if you want to look into the previous payments, click on the option and click OK. So you'll get to the payments, and this is the invoice that could be generated on your name. And you see the name on which your bill gets generated. So guys, my suggestion for all of you is try getting your account registered at the earliest. So don't worry about the costs, don't worry about the bills. I can assure you one thing, that we will follow certain practices. The practices can help you a lot in way that you will not go beyond the usage of your free tier. That is point one. We will start provisioning servers, deprovision them right after the usage. Any service that is cost, I'll update you before, because what I would recommend you is a service that you have used which is cost, deprovision it right after your practice. But there are some services or some resources that you create, they're free of cost. They don't even charge you for it. So I'll keep on notifying you such resources. So the aim is, if you guys can get started with the account creation and get all these things done, that should be a great way for all of us to get started. So I'd want to make it very simple, guys. So can I get a quick confirmation from all of you in the chat window that you have understood the idea of creating an account and how the bill's gonna be charged, and how about the billing service, way to log in to see, and make it a practice, people, that every time that you log into your account, the first thing that you should do is look into your billing. Did I get charged for any particular service usage? What is the current month billing? What could be the forecast that you guys can expect? So can I get a quick confirmation in the chat window by typing yes? Hasha says yes. Okay, is there something as a cost estimator? Right now, if you want to go into the cost estimator, I say that you are going far ahead, but still if you still want to go there, I would say no for it. You can say calculator, but it's too early for all of you guys, because you will not understand what is the service is all about and why they use this service, or what is the service is all about. You can use a simple monthly calculator. So you can go and estimate this one. Sure, join me later. No problem. We just started. We just started about 10 minutes before you joined. We were just having a discussion on the general guidelines. So people, I'll tell you, one of the job role does include this cost estimation, because clients, when we have a discussion with the client would ask us like, Sharath, can you let me know the bill that could be generated? So we have to clearly articulate to the customer that it is not the exact bill that you get, because AWS even when you go and ask AWS, if these are the services that I'm going to use, what are you billing? So AWS clearly says, boss, we don't own that. It's all about the consumption, what you do, and what is that the end of the month will get. So there are a lot of hidden factors that AWS will not give you any kind of clarity or transparency. Like if you use EC2, AWS will charge you for compute, for the inbound and outbound request, for the storage, IP address that you used, a lot of things that you will fall out if you don't have an idea. So AWS, even AWS doesn't have any kind of, see, if you see the statement that they have mentioned, this calculator provides an estimate usage of AWS charges based upon certain information you provide. Monthly charges, sorry, monthly charges based upon your actual usage services may vary from the estimate the calculator has provided. So guys, this still is in beta version. There is no assurance that whatever that you give, you might get a bill for it. That is not the way. So it is just an assurance to the customer that if you use these services, you will get charges accordingly. So I hope guys, the idea of the idea of AWS account creation is clear to all of you. I hope, will you be able to get this account created earliest? And I would request everyone to start, looking into these services, units, and details on a daily basis so that you guys can have an idea about it. So we'll continue the discussion, guys, latest by tomorrow.